Absolutely. Again, I think that as far as compositions go, most of these teams already kind of have that figured out. Killjoy is going to kind of make a return, I think, for both these teams. Again, I think KO is a big part of it. Omen, obviously, a big part of it. And so it's just about whether or not do they want to keep the Sovas in play. Because we've seen Sova kind of phasing out. But both these teams pick it. Yeah, the mirror happens kind of like I thought.
Shift, what are you thinking about the compositions? Or just moving into map 3, maybe you're like, yeah, the compositions don't matter as much.
I think the biggest thing here is you're looking at 2 win conditions, one on either side. For a crew, you have to be the better collective team than Sentinels, because on the other front for Sentinels, I think you look at the head-to-head matchups, Tens versus Neon. I think a lot of people would say, Tens is better. Kenpeki versus Giovanni. We didn't even know who Giovanni was before this matchup. Like, the individual head-to-head matchup seems to favor Sentinels, so I think for a crew, you just, as a collective, have to be better than the collective of Sentinels. I know it's easy to say, but we'll have time to break down into what that may mean as we get into the map.
Okay, so I was saying no questions before, but after those first 2 maps, I got a lot of questions. I want to see how this series plays out. Yeah, so take it away. Ascend, here we come.
Yeah, I don't know how much value you get out of that statement, Dust, or if I'm just kind of spewing it, but it really does feel like one of those situations that, kind of looking back at Split, Sentinels, it looked like their composition was all about, we're just going to out-frag you, and that didn't really occur. I feel like with a mirror matchup, that's kind of what we'd like to look for is, would the head-to-heads, Neon versus Tens, maybe be the win condition, or can a crew potentially just out-skill and outthink Sentinels overall?
That is something we're going to find out here soon, as Sentinels will be starting on the attacking side and all bunched up towards A early on here. Of course, we know how the shock darts and that one-way smoke on the edge can always play a factor on how a lobby is contested. Something that Sentinels are just going to have to kind of wait out.
The crew's going to rely on this A lobby defense off of a Nanostorm sentry turret contact, playing the defense into tree completely. First Nanostorm will be triggered. There's the smoke dash from Tens, wants to delete the sentry turret. Costs him some health, but he's able to. Sentinel's also trying to shut the door on an early play through tree, but Zach still finds first blood. Spike being committed for the plant, even in the 4v5 for Sentinels. Looking to probably set this post point up from the backside of the site, but though the flashes are good and a crew's retake. Jackie asked the questions about what may come through, and a crew, it looks flawless in their retake, only dropping 1.
That's big, too, because retaking was one of the things they struggled with on the previous map. And to get one out like that early and in such dominant fashion, only losing 1 player, certainly good news.
Revealing area.
Oh, Neon finding the first strike there with the Marshall out middle. Actually does drop the spike temporarily. Tens trying to barrel through here deep into middle, but that alarm bot sits in front of him, denying him any more free space. Tries to dash in with the flash, catches the Marshall, but Zachary there to play Guardian Angel. And now a crew clamp down, and that's going to do it.
Okay.
See a little bit of aggression here from Neon over at B lobby. Will be forced to retreat. We are going to see Sentinel just kind of playing default right now, watching for pushes across all fronts. Shazam trying to threaten a little bit at middle. You can see he's trying to spam a utility, and Neon was trying to fit a Marshall shot in through all that. Doesn't land the mark, however. Does get some intel, though, and a couple of players out in middle.
Oh, that's a big pick. Sick down means you've got to use some other form of utility to try to clear out B main. As you remember, with that opening push from Neon, there could still be a player in the corner. So dark cover will come through. They'll check their corners very avidly. Giovanni re-wrapping back over towards the boathouse switch, though. Not able to hold up. Good recon from Pancakes, who still gets the Ares to sing a song for him. And with that, now all of a sudden the contest over this B site is still very heavily invested into for a crew. Even though Sentinels are on, they are 100% trapped in the back. It just comes down to, will a crew actually read this or not? Pancake's going to work on the walls. That'll be good for the first elimination. Shazam reveals his spot, as Neon will continue to keep the pressure on. And it looks like the read is going to be here. A crew know the last 2 players are in the back, but Kenpeki peeks out, turns it into a 2v2. Gucci, the only player with full HP still. but he's just got an SMG, and he's looking to be the first one forward. Their cover should expire here in a moment. Good recon coming through, and Pancakes and Gucci will do the job required. That'll be a 3-0 start for Accru's defense.
Yeah, clean sweep, winning the opening rounds and the bonus. And collect a couple of free vandals.
With Neon with an early operator, this makes the dynamic over the middle of the map very different all of a sudden, thanks to that bonus win.
Oh, what a read, but what a kill anyway!
Follow-up not good either. The flash was there. But Giovanni only gets one, so now all of a sudden you've got weapons that you've collected. Shazam will get the orb for the Hunter's Fury, and you hold numbers. This is the recipe for a successful Thrifty written all over it.
It does. I mean, and that's the worst part is Gucci had the read on 10 jumping through that smoke and still lost the fight. Flash comes through to try to trade out there from Jova. He's only able to bring down one, so 4 on 3. Pancakes pushes down middle, though, catches Dapper, gets it back to even numbers before this retake starts. And Tens has low HP, so, I mean, there's still a way back into this for a crew, but definitely Sentinels may pull off this Thrifty. They have a couple of weapons they picked up.
Recon and Fragment trying to delay the retake, but look at the follow-up information coming out from Pancakes. Oh, Tens! He gets the opener, but Pancakes is still in position to try to contest, and Zach's able to find the second. So now it's just down to Shazam, and the timing of the peak just not quite good enough. Pancakes and Zach will combine, survive with 17 HP, and hold off the Thrifty.
But then he just gets erased by Tens, I believe it was. Yeah, it's right there. Tens gets that frag, you're starting to think, okay, Sentinels are going to clamp down, but then Pancakes goes to work. Zachary collects the double, the buying, a couple ults in play as well if they need them. Tens wasted no time.
Quick, yeah. Forces out the lockdown. You do not have to commit to this if you're Sentinels, but they're going to call the Hunter's Fury, just trying to deny it and keep the play on. On towards site, spike will be planted. And defensively, you haven't lost anything yet. In fact, you even have a play off of a flank that will be read by the alarm bot. But still, you've kind of got Sentinels trapped at the moment inside. You still have plenty of flashes to work with, but can you find the eliminations? That's the real question. Giovanni on the way in after he tries to self-flash himself forward. That will not work out. Null Command comes through, but maybe a touch too late. As the trades come out, and it's Sentinels in a 3v2, but Neon keeps the play and the retake alive. Dapper's post-line position through A is going to be the last thing standing. It's a 1v1 with Neon, who's got a scope out but cannot get the cloud burst down in time. Looking to maybe toggle the spike.
Despite the early oppression from Sentinels on site, shutting down the lockdown, getting space quickly. You know, there was definitely some moments there, particularly Neon with the short. He gets 2 frags and gets on the ground on site. It just comes down to Dapper coming up clutch in the 2v1.
Revealing area.
And it's off the backside of aggression towards A, so some establishment of tempo now being put into play by Sentinels, and you're going to get Zach going back to the same round 1 defensive setup with the Killjoy. We've got the Nano Swarm Sentry Turret try to guard this play through A, double stack into tree. But interestingly enough, the crew are kind of leaving the door open at B here. No one's even threatening over towards B main, and there are no defenders on site. This is a heavy mid-stack defensively for a crew.
Enemy tech.
And Shazam sends the Owl Drone up through Catwalk. Creates a little bit of pressure. Tens and company looking to burst onto the scene through A lobby. Tens leading the charge, but a crew are shutting it down on all fronts.
You should run.
Oh, yeah. Lockdown still being called in here, though, for Sentinels. Trying to work through this. I mean, it was a 5-on-2 before Dapper even hit the trigger for the lockdown. Sure will. But what can you do with it? That's, I think, the biggest question here, because as you've got a Killjoy rotation defensively towards B, an alarm bot keeping you honest at mid, and again, a crew just can very quickly rotate to deal with this, you're going to have to pull off some incredible shots here if you're Tens.
Yeah. I like that they're at least attempting to do some mid control here. They're busting up things over towards Market. And still have some presence over towards B lobby as well. They're definitely putting the pressure on a crew on multiple fronts. Trying to find a way to slip through the cracks. But they are doing a pretty good job on the crew side of things to kind of contain this. I mean, Zachary's playing logs, watching the Market swing out. He's got support there on Catwalk, kind of watching his backside on the B main entrance. Spawn kind of being covered here by Neon. as well as Gucci, who's watching it from back A heaven. And so now it's just kind of a standstill, and it's just going to be on the Sentinels to kind of take the initiative here and eventually commit to something on this eco.
Well, the sentry turret gets denied as Sentinels will start to flood, and oh, it's a huge first pick from Zach. Kill potential for Sentinels now off the table. This position at Logs is working out so darn well for a crew. Sure, there are some trades, but Neon is still a part of the picture and actually no longer wants to be, so we'll dash out for a time. Spike is collected but not on site yet, and Dapper will drop that, unfortunately, in front of the staircase to mid, leaving Shazam for a 1v2. Not a lot of time to make the play. Ivani will delay and eventually tally the final kill needed. 6-1, a crew solid through the first 7 rounds.
Yeah, just obviously around where Signals don't have a lot to work with. They try something different strategically with this mid-B split, but